When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports breaking news.
This one is from Sam Amick and Anthony Slater of The Athletic. Two friends of the show, two friends of the station for sure. And they just dropped a piece on The Athletic in which, I guess the breaking news here, this is definitely more just a little peek inside to how this week might go. Mm-hmm. But like I said, there is a bit of breaking news in here. And again, this article is titled, Why the Sacramento Kings Are Shopping Their number 13th pick as Part of an Aggressive Offseason. And one of the first paragraphs in here is as follows. This is a quote again from Anthony Slater and Sam Amick in their newest article in The Athletic. The Kings already tried to use it for a significant roster upgrade. They were close to a trade for defensive ace Alex Caruso last week, according to league sources, offering the number 13 pick to Chicago as the key chip. The Bulls, to the surprise of many within the league, instead opted to send Caruso to OKC for Josh Giddey. As a continuation, more so just on where the Kings are at with their pick, league sources say the Kings have shuffled several late lottery level prospects through their facility in recent weeks, including Zach Edey, the 7'4" National Player of the Year, who could theoretically offer a level of rim protection the Kings have been lacking. Now, hold on, not so fast, all you Edey people out there who just got excited. Amick then puts, and this is Amick and Slater, I should say, but it's difficult to slot any traditional center into a lineup next to Domantas Sabonis, which is exactly what we were just outlining, talking about Jonas Valanciunas. And in the bigger picture, there's more of an internal appetite to add veteran help to a win-now situation as opposed to a rookie. That's why the 13th pick remains very available in trade talks heading into the draft, according to league sources, along with the necessary cap filler and even extra picks for the right player. We can get more into it. There's another thing that goes into De'Aaron Fox's extension if we want to go into that. That more so, let me find that real quick here. Where did it go? I was just looking at it a second ago. Okay, now I can't find it, but Brendan just walked in and told us. I'm going to find it here in a second. But it is being reported that De'Aaron Fox will not sign his contract extension this offseason and will instead look to see where this roster further develops and to see if he could potentially get those all NBA, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year boosts that can then make his next extension a supermax extension. So De'Aaron Fox will not be signing a max contract this offseason, will instead be kicking it down the can to see where this thing goes. Here it is right here. Fox's future looms in the background too, as league sources say the all-star guard has decided not to sign an extension this year, in part because he wants to see how the roster takes shape for the long haul. Fox, who has 2 seasons left on his current deal, wants to win at the highest level and could also qualify for a significantly larger max if he makes All-NBA.
Wow.
So a lot there.
That is meaty.
There. Yes, very, very meaty.
That is the Hungry Man TV dinners.
Yes.
That's what that is. I mean, where to start, Chris?
A lot.
As far as the Caruso deal, now that's a guard situation that I don't think counts as far as no more guards.
He doesn't play like a guard.
A guy like that, he changes the complexity of the game.
Everything.
What he can do defensively. He shoots the 3 ball. You don't have a guy like that on your team. Now, I do think it would have been interesting because of how much of a jump Keon Ellis made, and would that have kind of stifled Keon? But I guess we'll never know because
I guess we'll never know.
And if you're Chicago, you care more about, and maybe I'm missing something on Josh Giddey, and I know it's supposed to be a down draft, and I am normally in the camp of get the guys that can at least be a player in this league, but Chicago not wanting to make that move with the Kings for 13 and instead taking on who they think could be an all-star in the East for Josh Giddey. Yeah, man. I mean, I think this whole thing shows how aggressive the Kings are being, and I think we all can appreciate that. And as far as what they do next, I don't know if the pick will lose value because it's so available. Yeah. But I do think it's hard for teams to turn down that opportunity, especially based on knowing that, hey, there's always that diamond in the rough, and we can be that team to get the diamond. I do think they will convince a team to take it. I don't know how much more they'd have to give up with the pick to get some of the bigger name guys like a Levine or like a Ingram or like Kyle Kuzma. So I'm less surprised. The least surprising piece, if we went in order to me, is that they're shopping the pick.
Yeah.
I would say it's surprising to not that they were going after Caruso, because maybe this started before Malik re-signed, but even if it didn't, they're two completely different players. Not that surprising, more surprising that Chicago would rather go with Josh Giddey. And maybe, Josh Giddey, 6'5", point guard, can distribute the basketball, does a lot of things. So maybe that's not that surprising. And last but not least, I think we will get to De'Aaron Fox's side of this on the other side.
Real quick, I would say, just reading into this, it says offering 13 to Chicago as the key chip. If it's 13 and Davion Mitchell, would you rather have 13 to Davion Mitchell or Josh Giddey?
13 and Davion Mitchell, personally.
Yeah. I
now, does Davion Mitchell make sense with
Kobe White?
I
don't think so. I like Josh Giddey's fit. I think Giddey is like a perfect fit over there. I think that's the exact kind of situation where he could thrive. It makes sense to me. I think the thing that I'm reading from the Caruso thing is honestly that no Zach LaVine. Like if 13 was the trade chip, they were talking to Chicago, but they were not talking to Chicago about Zach LaVine. Yeah. They were trying to get it done on a whole separate thing, which to me, I could be reading too much into it, but if I'm the Kings and I'm having Caruso talks, if I'm interested in LaVine at all, I'm talking about adding Zach LaVine to that. I may be reading too much into it, but I could see that as the Kings maybe aren't that interested in Zach LaVine. Well, if they were trying to work on this as a whole separate deal.
Right. But again, we know that the Bulls they really valued Caruso, possibly overvaluing
for sure
Caruso. Coming up next, we continue the conversation from this bombshell article from The Athletic. Our guys, Sam Amick and Anthony Slater, little combination. And we will discuss De'Aaron Fox and his thoughts and the fact that he will not be signing an extension this offseason. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.